Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order of the Lunenburg Cemetery Commission, Thursday, June 26, 2025. And we have a quorum here of myself, Mike Clark, Dave Doran, Vice Chair, and Donna Landry, Clerk. In accordance with the requirement of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast live over the Lunenburg Public Access channel on Facebook Live on the Public Access Facebook page. And will be uploaded to the Lunenburg Access YouTube after the meeting. This meeting will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. Thank you. Let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, great. Well, at least it's a lot cooler today than yesterday, so we can all put on sweaters. Okay, we have the meeting minutes from Thursday, May 22nd, 2025. Has everybody had a chance to review the meeting minutes?
Just give me a couple minutes here. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. I make a motion that we approve the minutes from Thursday, May 22nd.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have an invoice for the Sims software, and that's the cemetery. Sims is an acronym for Cemetery Management Information Systems. There's a parent company, Randmaker, that developed the software, and what the invoice is for is Sims Cloud annual maintenance. That's $1,420. So that's an annual maintenance fee for one full license and one read-only license. So the DPW has the full
Nice.
access control, data archiving, and then we also have a read-only, which lets you look at the data limited, to images they want to share. And also reporting function, so you can look at reports on number of lots sold and veterans and other things. So it's got a nice reporting function.
So if you if you look everything over and you see that there might be a problem, we don't do anything. We get a hold of the superintendent and ask him questions to see if there's a problem that we need to correct?
Yeah, any information that we would feel should be, or somebody, we would send it to the cemetery superintendent, who would be able to update the information.
Okay,
So does that mean we have a license to read only the information, is that correct?
that's right.
So,
But they can also secure information.
okay, so
So-
would you go to the town hall? Is there a computer there that is strictly for that purpose?
Well, and two, it also is, contains a burial search annual hosting, license for $1,200. And that's the public facing site, so if you go into the cemetery commission and look at the SIMS, that's going into the database and presenting what, it's allowed to present. Which is basically all of the information except if there's any private documents that have been put in a private area.
Okay.
Okay, and Rainmaker, from what I got an email from them, they will, on Zoom, do a meeting with the three of us and show us how to use the system,
Yes,
if you're interested.
so we could do that. We would just need to schedule it as a commission meeting.
Right,
Yeah, so we can schedule a future meeting.
which would be good, because I think all of us should know how to. Mike, you probably already know, but I don't know if Donna does, how to use that,
Right.
as far as getting in and knowing where the plots are and how many more plots are available and all that. We should know also.
Right.
So. Now, we're going to take a vote on approving this, but did you get the paperwork from the treasurer's office to sign it and approve it? Or are we just doing this as
No,
a commission?
we're doing
first?
this ahead to approve the funds to pay the invoice, and then I can go to the treasurer and
Because then you'll have to get
request.
the paperwork, and then two or
then
three
we'll
of
all
us have to.
sign
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll approve expending the funds, and then the treasurer will put together
Right.
the payment of the invoice, and then we sign off on that, and then they pay the invoice.
Is this a yearly type subscription?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we're basically paying an invoice that we would get once a year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it starts, well, this is invoice June, but
Yes.
what is the? Did
Posting
they?
from 8/6/25 to 8/6/26.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yeah. So we have 60 days to pay, but that's
So
ticking
this is
away.
August.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. Anything else? Comments? No?
No, I think that covers it.
Okay.
I think it's worthwhile, and then we can learn more about the interface of the software, what the value is to our particular commission here.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
And I think it's worthwhile at least to, since the license, the full license and the read-only are only a fraction of the total cost. So
Right.
there's some savings if we were to go with the read-only,
Sure.
but we can make that. I think it's worthwhile to do it this year and get all the functionality that we can understand down.
After the
And
meeting, I'll
and the
go.
data, because we'll want to use it for our long-term planning.
Right.
And then if we want to share or just have the cemetery superintendent run reports and stuff, we can do that.
After the meeting, I'll make a copy for you,
Okay.
so you can have it. I make a motion, we approve the Rainmaker invoice for $2,620.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. On to the North Cemetery backlot expansion. So at town meeting, they approved the expenditure for the
Right.
backlot.
Right.
And I haven't caught up with Bill
Yeah.
Bernard yet but I'd like to get his plans for the kickoff.
The only, I did email Bill, I don't have it in front of me, but I did ask him about the back lot, and I did ask him not to do anything without us knowing about it. And he said definitely that we'd be part of the project, that he would let us know what's happening. Because the last time, I believe it was before you were on the board, Mike, we went out there with Bill and we noticed which trees should come down in the back lot based on what the tree, what do you want to call the person? The people that know about the trees.
Arborist.
Arborists. And the engineer said. And there's only 3 of them that they suggested come down, which we have tagged. I know that, and he's not, Bill's not here from the DPW to talk about it, but I do know that they were talking about taking them all down. And I don't really think we want bare land. You know, we want some shade over the lots.
Yeah, I agree with you, and the more I look at it, every couple of weeks I'll go over, the more I look at it, it doesn't seem as hilly as it did the first time, so I'm like, well, maybe there isn't a lot of work to do in like grading and excavation, but it's just in doing a nice layout and where the roads are gonna go, and like you said,
That's the question.
what's the limit of the tree removal?
Right. The biggest also is the roads. Where are we going to have just one road, or are we going to have 2? At first, we suggested just one road. Okay.
Yeah,
And then the other side would only go part way, just for the hearse to get in, maybe so many feet up, and then the people would park in the roadway.
okay.
When you want to get a hold of Bill to see when they're going to get this going, or do you want me to, or?
If you have time, that would be great.
Okay.
And, because my point too is that, what you see in the North Cemetery, as actual burial area is only half of the, lot. It's about 20,
The back lot's pretty big.
yeah, it's, and so the other part of it is all that wooded area. Let me just look at my notes here.
Do you want me to close the door?
Sure.
If you want to, sure.
Are we allowed to close the door though?
Sure, yeah.
For the meeting?
Can we
Yep.
close the door? I just need to grab tissue.
You might wanna, I'd leave it open.
Okay.
Um,
I guess if
yeah.
I could hear a little background over here, so
Doors
that's
are
fine.
supposed to be open, so we can check into it.
Okay.
Is that? We can just close it to just leave it, just don't latch it.
Do you want me to close it?
Yeah, just don't latch it, you know,
Leave a little space, I guess is what
That's
he's
it.
saying.
so people know they can
Yeah.
do that. It's not a
Just like
private.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
Um,
So the North Cemetery is 22 acres total, and I think about half, or maybe 10 acres is actually.
Okay.
And so then we have the back lot, which is additional acreage. But then we have all the woods there, and so what is to do with that? So I wouldn't mind.
2,200 acres?
22?
22 acres.
22 acres.
Is that, did you say that was the back
Well, that's
lot?
off the GIS mapping of the town,
Mhm.
that says that lot is,
The back lot is 22 acres.
no, the whole.
The whole.
Cemetery. lot.
Okay. That's the whole lot.
Yeah.
The whole, are you saying the whole North Cemetery or just the back lot?
No, the whole North Cemetery. So if you start at that point on Holman Street as you
Yeah.
turn,
Okay.
and you just keep driving,
Yeah.
and you get to the very end road going into the cemetery to the
Yep.
back lot,
Right.
you keep driving, and all that wooded area
Mm-hmm.
is cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't mind if we kick this off, if they could do a stake
So like I
the
said, like,
boundary.
That's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, not just the back lot, but do the,
Oh,
depending on what the cost would be. But, because it would be nice to know the total acreage. you know, how far that goes. Then you have private properties.
Okay, so you're looking for the whole North Cemetery, well, what
Right.
we would call
Right. I mean, because would there be,
Including-
what's the
including the
further
woods.
expansion, 20 years from now or
Right.
whatever, or,
and how much more that would be compared
Right.
to just the expansion.
right.
That, okay.
I'm not looking to take this project and say, let's go, but it would be nice to get with this project, here's this back lot, and here's the boundaries of the whole area. And,
So there's no boundary meters?
I don't know, it may be surveyed already, we should
It
talk to
probably
Bill.
is.
Yeah.
I would
yeah,
imagine if it's
yeah.
on,
Yeah,
I might be wrong, I
I-
might be right,
Yeah.
but
So that's
Okay.
all I'd like to, you know, if we can kick that off,
Let me
to
ask
get
him,
an
when I,
understanding of the whole lot. And then if you go to that last road
Mhm.
going in, and there's the rock wall,
Mhm.
you can park past that road.
right.
And if you walk back, it looks like, I walked it before the grass and everything got going. It looks like maybe they had filled or something, because it's a good drop, there's a drop. So it's level and then a drop. And it looks like that would be an area you could clear fairly easily.
Yeah, it does.
Or-
It's pretty,
you're talking about the expansion.
Stop it from, you know, I think some annual maintenance, so it just doesn't return all to wooded vegetation, you know? I see some bamboo growing in there now and some other stuff, and it's like,
Are we talking about the
this.
expansion
this
area
is-
or the roadway that,
Yeah, this is,
if you get in and there's a roadway going,
yeah, this,
In-
the roadway down to the back lot on the
Yeah.
very far side of the cemetery.
right,
Then you have a rock wall.
right,
So if you were along that roadway and said, I'm gonna walk over the rock wall and into the, what you might think is woods, it's actually a grassy, little bit of brush area.
is that where all the logs are? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, but, and not that far, and it goes from the Holman Street all the way down to
Well-
the back lot.
when you have the expansion
Yeah,
area, there's woods and then there's a road going back out toward Holman,
yeah,
and then there's woods again.
yeah,
So you're talking about that,
yeah.
Whole
But
area.
we could go over it when we walk up and
Okay.
and say, it looks like something you could even mow, you know, and get it into reasonable condition and not let it just return to woodland, you know?
okay,
If we wanted to do anything there, put another path, I don't
Mhm.
know, if you wanna spread ashes or do something, you know?
I wonder how far down Holman Street the North Cemetery goes.
Well, then, if you go even a little further, there's a gate out, like a chain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And inside of that is a big flat area, and it looks like it was fill. It looks like the intent was to fill.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe at some point they said, oh, you can't fill. So, but
Okay.
what's there is there, you know, and is it of any practical use, you
Mhm.
know?
Okay. Let me ask him
So we
if
could
it's
do-
already been surveyed,
Yeah,
and if it hasn't been,
yeah,
we should probably get a price what it would be now to do both, and if it's too expensive, we might wanna wait till doing it later.
yeah. And
But
then
we can bring that up at the next board meeting.
the final tidbit is that whole wet area behind
Right, the wetlands.
is another 23 acres.
Where the wetlands are,
At least on the GIS map
Right.
says the cemetery commission.
right.
Yeah, that whole big.
But
so
it's
what do we do
wetlands.
about that?
It's wetlands?
So that's
Is what you're
protected.
saying?
Right.
You can't really do anything with wetlands, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, so we got, I don't know if you can see this, the
Mhm.
green area is the existing gravestone cemetery.
Is that the
So-
back that you're pointing to?
Yeah, the little, this is Holman Street.
Okay, so that's the front.
Yeah, this is the front,
That's Holman,
going
okay.
back.
Yep.
The dotted area is the back lot, but then all this around here,
Mhm.
in this trapezoid is the woodland.
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen that.
And then you got the back lot, which
Mhm.
is the wet area.
So the expansion is
The expansion, I think, is the tip.
I don't see it, I'm at an angle, I can't see it, but that's okay. I just want a rough idea.
See,
The
now you
dotted
see the
area?
cemetery. Yeah, and if you, this is the end road and the dotted area, that might not be to scale.
Is that on GIS?
Yeah.
So I can just go to
Is it-
GIS and look
Yeah,
at it?
go to the assessor's GIS map.
Right.
Is that dotted area the
Yeah, that's
expansion?
about where the back lot is. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
So here's our regular cemetery with the roads. This is
Mhm.
Holman Street.
Right.
And then this is all the wooded area.
right,
But along here, over the rock wall, is about a 50-foot wide
Mm-hmm.
oh, you got it up on there.
alleyway. Oh, okay, there you go.
You did it, you didn't even realize it.
Jeez. Yeah.
So the whole area
Probably-
is, what's the, 26 is part of it, or is it just?
26 is Lunenburg Cemetery too. And you
Yeah.
can see it's wet.
Yes.
And over here you get this brook that goes through. So I think the beavers put a few
Mhm.
blockage here.
Okay, so 37 is mainly where we're parking?
Yeah, 37.
Okay, got it. Okay,
37, that's all existing.
yep,
And then, but you can see from here to here,
Mm-hmm.
36 is private owned,
Right.
right? And 32 is our little cemetery building.
Yeah.
Yes.
lot.
Okay.
So
and you're saying 26 is also part of?
26 is also on the assessor's map. It says Lunenburg Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow,
it's almost 50 acres.
That's a lot.
It is.
Can you,
Okay.
can you squeeze it in so I can see the whole square, the whole surveyed area?
Yeah, right here. I'll just drop that down. Right here, like that.
Is there like,
Oh,
survey lines that would separate
well,
it?
this is just the GIS,
no, that's
right?
just, yes.
I'll go online.
So
later.
it's probably pretty accurate,
Yep,
but
okay.
you never know,
Mhm.
because you see,
It should be.
The other thing we need to discuss when the time comes, when the,
let me just make
Surveying.
no one's trying to join the meeting. I guess you can see it up there. I don't need to.
Yeah,
handle
that's
my,
fine.
yeah,
Quick look here. Oh. Yeah, nobody's looking to join. So
Okay.
okay.
the other thing we wanted to discuss when the time comes, when we meet with the surveyors, is the plots have to go east to west when the burial
Right.
plots. And we gotta make sure that for ethic reasons.
Oh yeah,
okay,
yeah,
And not north to south, they can't go this way, they
yeah.
have to go this way.
Okay.
Just the way that they are in the other part of the main part of the North Cemetery, they head this way.
And they include with the software a GIS mapping service. So I don't understand the exact details of that, but we can work that out with the engineering company.
Mhm.
Okay.
Let's see.
So I will call Bill regarding the survey and the trees.
How about the assessor's office? Couldn't you just contact the assessor's office for the survey?
Well, I want to find
Do you
out,
think they would have formal maps,
Well,
maybe? Or maybe
I don't know,
Todd or the,
I know, well, if they have GIS maps, it depends, every town is different, I don't know how Lunenburg does it. But I would probably just ask them there at the assessor's office first, because.
well, I want to
Yeah.
find out when they're going to start doing the project also, which probably won't be till July because of the new budget.
right.
So,
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
But that's why I wanna talk to
Probably
Bill about.
Approve the town meeting and it takes a little bit to
Right.
throw it into a expendable item.
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
but maybe he's already set the date up.
Yeah.
I have no idea. So,
That would be interesting to get a set of prints that are, like you said, that are the actual
Mhm.
legitimate meets and bounds
Right.
Okay,
of that and South Cemetery, right?
so
Because I haven't
set,
looked at it on GIS, I
set
should.
of maps, maybe he has them, maybe he
I don't
doesn't,
have
I'll
background
ask.
on the
I'll ask him.
GIS, but it's, if that's perfectly overlaid, you don't know, or accurate.
It's pretty, it's
well,
my
it is.
understanding it is, I mean, GIS is used in all the towns. Typically, I mean, throughout the, I think all of them, but, like if I was gonna pull a property card, it's based on GIS.
Yeah, yeah.
So that would have to, it's the town keeping track of everything.
I would imagine it gets more and more accurate. From 50 yards to 5 feet, to, you know, it'll be within inches or millimeters.
Okay.
So then, any other items on the North Cemetery, the expansion project?
Sometime I want to discuss the hedges
Okay,
and how we're going, what we're going to do with the hedges as far as they cut them right down when they were supposed to just trim them, but still, let's get away from that and get into how we're going to replace them. We tried last year about the stone wall. It was very expensive. It was not approved. So I'm wondering if I don't like the idea of doing little bits at a time. I think maybe just go back to the trees and putting trees back in, and that should be less expensive.
okay.
If we look into that. And if we do that, do we want to just do, 10 trees a year for the next 3 years? Or do we want to take the money out of the budget? Because to me, I think we should talk to Bill about this, but I would think that the DPW should take care of the stumps if we're gonna pay for the trees. Because we just wanted them trimmed and they were cut down instead.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that maybe he can find it, that they take the stumps out and then we'll put the trees in.
Right, and I mean, with the equipment they have in a backhoe, that probably shouldn't be that big a deal to go down that row of stumps and pull them out and then grade it out. At least maybe in a couple steps. Well, you got to do it in a couple
Don't you have to
steps.
grind them, don't you have to grind stumps?
Well,
I mean,
these are the.
you're talking about those gnarly looking,
Yeah.
they trim back,
I still have.
I know what they look like, they're only in one section.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're up about a foot or two,
Right.
and
Yep.
they're a couple things, and they're they're not oak trees, but
No,
so I'm wondering, do you need to stump grind, or can you just get in with a backhoe and
Well, I'm
I don't know.
thinking-
pull them out? Now you'll have a rut, but just try
That's
to
it.
get them out and then back
Mhm.
grade.
Maybe that's an
Uh,
arborist question or somebody that knows.
Yeah, I think Todd's quite capable
Yeah.
of that, I mean, and probably even to do.
well, I would think
do
they would have
more.
to cut.
Recording in progress.
Oh,
I thought the recording was on.
I thought it was too.
I think it was. Maybe not.
Maybe it redid
It
itself.
says, see the X, there's an X, a red mark on the voice?
Yeah,
Or video? I don't know.
Okay,
I think we're in process.
or did we drop off here?
I don't know. Anyways, I would think they would
Oh,
have
there it
to cut into sections before they can pull the stumps out. You can't take all the stump at once, and they're gonna have to cut different sections
Yeah,
and then pull the stumps out, I would think.
yeah, I'm not worried about getting them out,
No,
You're not getting them out, because I had some old shrubs, I don't think they were as old as a cemetery, and I had to stump grind because they were like 40, 50 years old.
Okay,
And you just have them ground out, and you can put something in place, but you have to dig deep enough with a stump grinder, I believe.
but if you just take the
Okay.
stump grinder and grind it out,
Mm-hmm.
are you still gonna be able to grow
That's a
New
question
ones.
that somebody would have to,
Yeah, are you gonna get?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're gonna have to offset your new,
right, you'd have to ask
Right.
somebody who knows, cause I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah,
My only other thought was, if you just replaced it, my thought, in there they have the granite posts with the chain.
Mm-hmm. Could
Could we just finish that off and just put that there, so if people are bicycling or whatever, you know, you can stop and get a view. If you
Mhm.
want a scenic view of the cemetery from the road, you know? And, or even, I know people, it's closed during the winter.
yeah,
If that's set back quite a bit, could we just get them to put some graded base down or something? And if somebody wants to visit the cemetery in the winter, you know, as the DPW plows the road, they can plow off of it.
my understanding, the reason the trees went up
Yeah.
was to protect the cemetery. If there was a car accident
Right.
down that road, no car would go into the cemetery.
Yeah,
If you have a chain fence type thing, the car can still go through it.
yeah, there could be.
I mean, this never happened yet, but that's the reason that they thought of, to put the trees up, so.
Okay.
um,
I guess step one, what's it take to get the stumps out?
Yeah,
Because that can be done, and unless they're using the stumps as a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
okay,
You know what, I think that there's a couple of stump grinders that are local that we could ask.
Yeah,
I'll talk to Bill about that too, then, okay.
yeah. I didn't think of it, but maybe no one's pulled them up because that's a barrier.
Good question.
Yeah. Okay,
Well,
I
did
think
lose
that's
Zoom?
the only thing about the hedges. Did you wanna talk about other things about North Cemetery, or you wanna wait till later about that?
Do we have any other items on North Cemetery to bring up? I think I
Just
lost
the,
it. It says connecting. Okay,
Oh,
well,
we're
we didn't
having-
say Zoom is,
yeah, it sounds like we're having
well.
difficulties. But they're doing the taping, so. The only other thing right now that I can think of is the stone walls around the cemetery. In certain places, they're starting to fall down. And I don't know if we just, because it's a cemetery, do we have to get someone involved for pricing that has done historical cemetery stonework? Or do you just call to get a price on certain areas, how to replace it? Or not replace it, but put it back into an actual wall.
I think probably any stone wall mason would probably
Yeah,
know how to do that. I don't know anyone though, but
Do we have to get all the state and find out from the state?
this Zoom meeting's dropped out, but it's.
Oh, it dropped out?
so you're saying we need state approval?
Well, I'm saying no, not state approval, but we ask the state if anybody can go into a cemetery where you have people from the Revolutionary War, you know, do we have to have a certain company that has done that before that's licensed to do that, or can we just do any stone company?
That's a
I
good,
don't think you
because
can.
you wouldn't need a special company to put in shrubs. I wouldn't think again,
Right.
I don't know, I could be wrong. Why would you need a special company that would have to do the stonework? Because,
Okay.
And we're talking repair, right?
We're
yeah,
talking about
we're
like,
not saying
Yeah.
reconstruct,
Yeah.
well, not really
I think
reconstruct,
we could get.
probably reconstruct to a point, but it's not every single area. I think there's only.
so I don't think the
certain areas.
DPW is gonna do it. Or else they would have
Right,
done it.
right. Yeah, there's a couple local guys, Nancy referenced one, I know another person or two that we could see what they would do, and maybe they could just tell us, you know,
We just-
here's how I'd go about it, and quote out
Mhm.
a price.
Or if we can get just certain pricing on
Yeah.
different areas that are falling down, maybe if the price is too much, we just do maybe
Yeah.
1 or 2 a year. And
Yeah,
over a period of 3 years, you might get it all taken care of.
yeah, because you're really just looking at somebody who has a knack to look at how it's done there and just
Yeah,
restack,
Right.
replace them,
Mm-hmm.
place them back in and,
Right.
yeah. Okay,
okay. Who wants the,
you want me to look into that?
Okay,
I'll look
that's-
into
that's
that.
fine.
You've got other items here,
Yeah.
so I'll look at the stone walls.
okay. That's all I can think of right now for North Cemetery at the moment.
Okay. All right, we'll go on to South Cemetery. I did put it down here because we were told by Bill Bernard, North Cemetery, we were down to about, what, 80 or so lots
60, 80, yeah.
that are actual sellable.
60 to 80 in north.
Yes, and then in South, we were down to about 10 that are sellable. There are a number of other lots, they could be scattered sporadically.
Mhm.
Now I think we need to do a 2-lot sale, you know, you need to buy two plots, right?
Really?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's what our
right,
rules
right,
are.
right, so, you know, that's what you have to look for, and maybe families might want 4 plots, you know, the roads, like in South Cemetery, you can see the roadway on the one side may encroach on some of those,
Mhm.
or, you know, it's got a steep undercut. So,
So let me just back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm all new to this. So you're saying in the South Cemetery, there's only 10 available lots? Is that right?
yes, and that was an estimate, that are, we could sell.
And then in 60 to 80 in the North Cemetery?
Yeah, I think it was 80.
I think it was 80.
Okay, and then you said they can only be sold in lots of 2?
Yes.
Well, that's what the rules and regulations say. However, if there's a person that he's the last one in town and he's going to be buried in South Cemetery, we're not going to have to require him to purchase 2 if he's the last person of the family, you know. I don't think.
Right. So part of what we're saying too, and with the software, is to go in and identify all these lots, and then we'll have to, and maybe you can export it to a spreadsheet,
Mhm.
and then we could just go through each one and you know, pick a chunk and determine, well, how do you find this plot? How do you determine if it's viable for sale?
Mhm.
And then mark it, and then if you determine it's not viable for sale, we should permanently mark it
Mhm.
in the software, so now it takes it off the
Okay.
list. Right.
That would make sense.
This is
Okay.
So I think we need to start discussing with Bill, the South Cemetery, there's actually, that's about 6 acres.
Mhm.
And
Very small. I've never been in the South Cemetery.
yeah, that's about 6 acres, and of course it's rectangular, it goes straight back. And it gets to a point where it kind of rolls off and goes in back. There's a road that goes all the way around and back. And so there's some trees, but going and looking at it, it looks like maybe a lot of that is more underbrush and growth and not just a big wooded. So
Yeah.
it might be fairly easy to continue to clear that. And there's a large pile of dirt, gravel in back.
I never went
Maybe-
back there.
Maybe
When
they're intending to.
It says no parking back, no.
And I drove
driving,
back. I
so
figured I
I-
had the badge.
You're 5 miles, John?
So
I
drove
didn't
back.
do it, but
I walked
I
all
will.
in back, the pictures, I'll put those together.
Okay.
So I think that's a priority, you know, almost as much as north, if not more, because, you know, you
Priority be selling the.
to open up lots that are sellable, because it looks like probably there's still a half acre or so
Mhm.
of land there.
And it's beyond the road that goes around?
No, the road pretty much skirts the back, so between the open grass and the road is brush, and as it rolls off.
Okay.
And so it's what will it take to do a backlot expansion there?
How big is it? How many do you think we can get in there?
Well, there's quite a bit, because there's I'll just scroll
This is the
down.
first I'm hearing about the possible expansion of South Cemetery.
According to Mike Clark, so but here's the
This is
yeah, why am I
this
doing
is South
that?
Cemetery?
So you can see, where's my mouse? Here. You can see the trees here, right? And they go across. And
Where's the road?
okay,
The,
let's
the circular road.
here we go. This is better. Oh, this works better.
Okay.
So this is like this around right here. You're seeing the don't go any further, or over here.
Oh.
So that's the rear, correct?
That's the rear. This is the very end,
Okay.
and then these are. Let's see. What is the code? Green is open, light green.
It looks like there's a lot open then.
Yeah. So but you can see the trees here, right? So if you come down here, it's telling you.
But is that the road? Because I
The
can't.
light gray
Yeah,
is the road?
So that's the road
The
we-
road. That's the road that goes around back, and the property line is here.
Okay, but the main road.
Oh, we're looking at the
Where's the
back.
page
You're looking
three?
at the back
Yeah.
there.
Do
So
I have
page-
let me see here.
The front is the top?
That's the middle. Let's see if
Oh.
I got. Do I have a?
Okay.
I'll go. You have to go way up here.
Okay.
What is this here?
That's North Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
No, that's okay. I got the idea.
That was.
That's
there
North
we go.
Cemetery.
There we go. There we go. So this is Page Street,
Okay.
Okay.
So
and the lot goes straight back.
so it looks like a long rectangle.
Yeah, with a little trapezoid or
Yeah.
whatever on the end.
Okay.
I called that the open area,
Mm-hmm.
and this is 6 acres. So.
Okay.
So that
And that's
circular
3.
road,
Yeah.
the bottom part is where they say, where you have the open area, that's where they say don't drive,
Yes.
back there?
So
I
that.
gotcha, okay.
Yeah. So that's that, and you can see the last road here.
Mm-hmm.
So if I.
So why are they saying don't drive back there if we can open it up later?
Well, I think because they don't want people going back there because it's wooded, so they don't want probably kids and whatnot just
Right.
driving it back.
Okay,
So this is all GIS'd out, right? But you know, if you and you can drive to right here and you can see some burials.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can pick that up on the software, who's buried where, and go, okay, well, there's the stone. So that's this one of these spots.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you can come over here and say, oh, well, there's another stone. So
Now,
you,
is
So
this
you-
the software, the Rainmaker, is that what?
yeah,
these
yeah,
are from?
yeah, and you can see the trees here. You can see the trees, so there is.
so you're saying the light green is what's open still, it's available?
Yeah, this
light
is
green without
all, this
numbers.
is all set as available, which I said,
numbers. So you got, say, 400 to 690, you got about 298?
there's quite a bit of lots that
Available.
you could open up if that was,
Maybe 300 lots available there.
yeah. So,
But that's gonna be another year before we can get that approved probably.
right. So we would need to,
I mean, we could start it this
Yeah.
year, but
right,
you're not gonna, by the time it's engineered and everything, it has to be approved at the town meeting and all that,
mm-hmm,
so, but we can,
right. I think we
So-
should start.
we should
So,
start.
so I understand this, so what you're saying is, when you said that there's only 10 available, that doesn't mean there's a total of 10 available, that's what they're releasing on a
Right,
yearly
if,
basis.
if you came and said, I wanna buy a plot in South Cemetery, they would tell you.
So in other words, even though there's X
Right.
amount available,
Right, cause,
They're only
'cause like,
releasing X
there's
amount per year.
trees here, you know,
okay,
we'd have to remove the trees to get to
Okay.
that.
okay, we just have it back.
Yeah,
So I should
yeah.
probably take a walk down there and take a look so I understand.
Yeah, yeah, cause
Yeah.
it's pretty easy, cause you'll see the last road that goes straight across and then you get to about
Well,
here.
we're scheduled to go down there in August.
It's,
Right.
it's a
But I
very,
can take a,
it's a very well graded road.
Yeah.
It's not like you're driving into, you know,
mm-hmm,
brush and all that stuff.
right,
And you'll see a big, pile of dirt here.
okay,
So it looks like the intention's there to
Yes.
start
I
to
understand.
get that prepped.
Okay,
Okay.
now have you been back there before or after a rainstorm? How, does it go down where,
Yeah, it gets wet and back, but it's all going downhill. It's all going downhill. There's a rock wall here. There's a rock
Okay.
wall here,
okay,
and then there's some wet area in back. But that's down. It's kind of like north side.
I'll take a
It
drive
just
through
keeps
there
going. Yeah,
this
you
week.
can do that.
yeah. Okay,
Okay. And let's see. Okay. Any other?
Why don't
And there's
we-
some wall work on South Cemetery too.
okay, so
So we need a wall tender.
Donna's gonna go look at it, I'll go look at it some other time, and maybe next meeting we can put a plan together of what we're gonna do and
Yeah.
how we're gonna budget for it and all that.
Yeah, because we do. I mean, we do have the money.
Mm-hmm.
We do have the money, and you know,
Well, do you
Ezekiel,
open up
Ezekiel
the-
was saying the sale of lots funds is available to spend, and the I guess we're going to talk about the funds next. So I'll wait till then.
Just so
Okay.
you know, getting back to the North Cemetery, there was a discussion on the mowing of it,
Yes.
and that's being looked at right now. My suggestion would be for right now for the holidays, Independence Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day, that we call a landscaper in to do the mowing to make sure it's done.
Okay.
I don't know if that comes out of, because we do the rules and regulations and they do the maintenance, I don't know if that, whose budget it's gonna come out of.
No,
But
I think
that-
they do. I
that's-
think they
that's
do.
my
That's
suggestion.
day-to-day maintenance. So, and then
But
also
that's my suggestion.
we
And I've already talked to the town about that,
okay.
so we'll see. But we can either wait till the next meeting and talk to Bill, or I can talk to him about it, but the holidays are coming up soon.
Well, that's next Friday. Yeah. So
And right now, the cemetery, especially north,
yeah,
is not being,
I'll go through them tomorrow.
and not being mowed
Okay.
And it's
properly.
probably because we have had a lot of rain.
Well, that's
I mean,
it.
the weekends
Right.
have been a killer,
Yeah.
Yeah, but they only have,
and it grows really fast.
the
And you might have-
superintendent's the only one on the mower, except for the last week, I was told one of the part-timers has learned how to do it.
Okay. Okay.
But the other thing that you both should be aware of is that when they weed whack, they're going right down to brown grass instead of 1 inch above, or, I've been noticing that going around the cemetery plots. That, I don't know if they're just not trained how to do it or what, but
I would
They're
think
going-
it's heavy to carry those things around. Being a person who's cut my own grass, those weed whackers are heavy after a while.
yeah,
Yeah,
but still,
that's quite a task,
Yeah.
doing all the stones.
yeah,
Right.
but
Yeah, yeah,
still you can't go down to,
yeah. So.
to the dirt.
Yeah,
And
so
that's-
we should just have a conversation with Bill or Todd. So we'll wanna make sure they're going to get the mowing done. Although it is their responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
Our responsibility is just the agreement. Here's how we
Right.
expect the cemeteries to be kept.
But if anything is not done right,
Yeah.
it's the cemetery commission they come to
Well-
first.
Well, and that should be too, the, who to go to. We should get that from Jennifer. Who does she want to be contacted? Herself, Bill, or Todd?
It won't be herself.
It's under her,
Jurisdiction.
report.
Yeah,
So, who should be the contact point? Because my thought was always put a phone number. We
Yeah.
have a cemetery superintendent.
Right. I would imagine
For,
he'd be the
for,
person you
for
contact.
issues, call
Right.
here.
But
Um,
from past experience,
Yeah,
if you get an answer from one person, it might not be
right.
what we decided as the rules and regulations to go for.
I don't see that Zoom meeting coming back up. Okay, well, we'll have
Let me
to
talk
work
to,
this.
let me
And
contact Jennifer.
I think Bill will have it all set. I mean, last year we had everything
Yeah.
all set for that. Holidays, and like you said, in
Right.
between, you have weeks of rain.
Yep.
It can get ahead of you, so how do you
Oh, for
catch
one
up?
person, it will
Yeah,
get
how
ahead
do
of you.
catch up is the question.
That's why when they call the landscaping crew in, they got 3 or 4 that do it.
Right, right.
Now, I can understand one person on a mower isn't gonna get it all done, and that's why I'm suggesting
Yeah,
for the holidays, they might wanna bring in somebody,
yeah, yeah.
so,
So we'll have to touch base with Bill.
okay, I'll add that to my list.
Okay, okay.
Contact person. For complaints. Okay,
Yeah, no, we're still waiting for the host to start.
Well, does that mean we have
Unless
to do what we do?
I know Zoom has a 30-minute limit if you're not a
I thought it was
subscriber.
45.
Oh, is it?
It's 45.
Yeah,
yeah,
45.
it's 45.
So maybe,
There's also Google is a Google thing
Yeah.
that you can use.
Okay, next.
grants. So we were just gonna talk about the process to kick those off.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the town manager would know how to do that, but I got a phone number for a person in town that did grants for the Boys and Girls Club. I've been trying to contact her and no reply, so I don't know if she's out of town or what, but I put 2 calls into her. I'll keep trying, but
Okay.
we also should probably talk to the town manager because she's in charge of the grants.
Okay,
So,
you want me to talk to
do
her?
you want me to ask her since I've got
Okay.
about
You want to?
complaints?
Sure, sure.
Okay.
And I did see a big list of grants, I think, from Nancy.
Nancy had
Oh,
some,
So
yeah.
we can look at that too.
But going for grants is a big thing. So when I was working for a nonprofit in Worcester, we went through a company that had a list of people across the United States that did grants, and the average was like $50, $60 an hour. They would find the companies, they would find the grants,
Mm-hmm.
and then tell us, we would approve which ones, and then they would write the grant for us,
Okay.
okay? But they still got paid if we got the grant or didn't get the grant. So the person we used, I think she got $800, and she did like 3 grants, and we got 1 out of 3.
That's pretty inexpensive.
Yeah. Well, she was good too, but she didn't charge much because she did it remotely from home.
Okay, sure, why not?
So, but let's check with Jennifer first, the town manager,
Okay.
and then we can discuss if there's other possibilities, we might wanna go out and find our own grant person, if Jennifer says we can. But I don't know if we wanna do that, but we can discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the only way you're gonna get so much money is grants. Unless we go through that list that Nancy gave us.
Yeah, we can take a look at that too, to look at what the grants are, and get a flavor of what's out there.
If we go through, that was a long list.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So is
Yeah,
there
very
someone in town that, like, a college student on an intern basis that wants to, do that for us, and they do it as a school project?
Yeah, because we talked about, do we need a resource for doing the check on the open plots too, right? So
Yeah.
do we have any,
So maybe there's
see
a
that.
college student that
yeah,
we can get that does it'll be an intern.
yeah.
But who is gonna train that person on how to, or that would be my only question.
I guess we'd have to kick off with Jennifer and see
Mhm.
how,
Yeah,
how this flow down would be.
okay. Okay, I got that too. Next.
Let's see. Oh, well, there was one, the earmarks. I know Nancy had approached Representative Kuzmarek to see if they could get any earmarked funds to do some of the work in the cemetery. But there was, due to all the constraints this year, there were none. But
Okay.
along with Grant, we can work with
The state rep to see if
State
there's
Rep
any earmarks.
Kuzmarek, Scarsdale, or Senator Cronin.
Yep,
Is there any, how does that process work? She had submitted to him, so I can look at how she had done that, and usually it goes to him, but then it immediately bounces to an aide, who then
right.
handles it. So I can reach out to them.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to reach out to them on the
Yeah.
earmarks and say
Right.
what is the, how does that process go?
Okay.
So, any other on grants or earmarks or? So why don't we talk about the accounts a little bit, the funds.
The last one I have from the town, I don't know if you guys have a copy, I can go make one quickly, is dated, no, this is 24. I have one,
This is just an overview here of the funds. We have-
yeah, but we should have one already,
But then Ezekiel will provide
Ezekiel's.
updated numbers as.
Does he do it monthly or quarterly?
Yeah.
I think it's quarter,
Is it, yeah,
And starting in January?
yep, March 31st, 25 is the last one I have.
Okay, so these numbers should be accurate then.
Right.
What do you have? Oh,
Right, so I usually just take what he puts on his list and,
Mhm.
and pops it up there, right? Is that what you have then for sale of lots?
yep, 94, 490, yep. that's-
Okay, that's good.
Yep, that's sales of lots, the capital 10,606, yep. Perpetual interest, that's the one,
20,000?
20,000, that's what we're allowed to use.
Mhm.
So that's spendable.
That's the expendable, yep. The non-expendable, 233,000, yep. And gift fund is 209,39.
Okay.
You
So,
got it. So is this your,
yeah, I just tally it here, because he puts what's come in and interest and,
Okay.
Yeah,
so this is a running sort of
yeah.
template that you
Yeah.
use? And
So it's, per conversation with Ezekiel,
do you want a copy of this?
I think I have one from before. I think
Yeah.
I'm good, Jimmy, very much. I think I do
Okay.
have that.
so a town meeting, when the capital article or plan is approved, we were allocated the
Mm-hmm.
10,000, and this was some leftover, so it went in, minus some expenditures and stuff too,
Mm-hmm.
that we did last year for mowing and, Rainmaker
Yep,
and all, so. we have-
Rainmaker will come out of that
Yeah,
expendable, which is what, 2,600?
yeah,
2640.
2620, yep.
2640.
That'll come out of the
so we have the,
expendable.
yeah, we have the capital article, then, we can't touch, that's the principal
Mhm.
in the perpetual care. But the interest on it is expendable.
Mhm.
And then the sale of lots, that
Right.
total value is expendable. So, there's a decent amount of funding available to us, so we can get through some of this
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
decide,
But I do caution
yeah,
using a lot of the sale of lots like they did previously
right.
and almost drained us right down. So we don't wanna do that.
Right, so that's it, and that's having a plan for spending.
Right.
So,
Right.
we should put some thought into that, cause even if we decide we got a plan for taking out those shrubs and
Mhm.
putting in new ones, or, how much is that? Fixing the walls,
Like a cost
if we
comparison.
wanna do some surveying on that, south cemetery back lot, or a preliminary set of plans. I think we are obligated to spend some of the money, cause people are writing a check for the plot
Oh, yeah.
and the perpetual care. They don't expect you to just put it away and
No.
wait till things are a crisis.
Right.
We should be,
It could be a
So-
continual thing.
yeah,
I think we should, and we have been spending it, but
yeah,
I think this committee, or this commission, should put a limit on the sale, the lots, that money, how much we should go down to, and just cut it off at that point. I don't think I've been here for 4 years now, 4.5, and I've never heard of us doing that, but I think we should.
so let's start to map how many lots are they selling a month or a year?
A year.
What's the revenue coming in? And, so we know, well, if we spend what comes in, but no more, we have a balance, we're not depleting.
So we can't.
Is that what we wanna do, or do we wanna get some more projects done and then rebuild?
Mhm.
Yeah. So within, I'm not saying spend it down to, but, do you hold off on doing a 25K project that's urgent because you're gonna wait 3 years to just keep the piggy bank.
Right.
So let's find out, in the last, let's take an average of the last 2 years, how many lots we've
Yeah.
sold.
But aren't we
Um,
limited by the number of lots we can
See-
sell per year?
Yeah,
Like
and-
how many we're releasing?
And that's in software will tell us,
Okay,
right? The software will tell us, oh, that's the wooded area here.
yeah.
What is that one? Oh, those are some cut and paste things
Mhm.
of other trails.
So you have,
You see how they, that was my thought on that area next to North Cemetery.
yeah,
Right.
You could just put a gravel thing down
Mhm.
there.
so you have access to how many we've sold in the last 2 years?
Yeah.
3 years?
Where was I here? Okay. So, I got it in here and, total sites. Let me just go up. I think I put 2 summary slides up here. There we go. So total sold in North Cemetery, and this, it does by the year, and then as you get back further, it seems to do 2-year lumps. So,
So.
but over 5 years, 141 sold.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's 800 or 1,600 per 2,
That's North
well,
Cemetery?
800,
That's North Cemetery.
yeah.
So it says 5 years, 60 a month?
Yeah, and you can see high 42 a year sold.
So
Back in
60
COVID,
so
people
from-
were buying plots.
So I'm just trying to understand, so in 5 years, I just don't understand the math, can you explain it to me,
Okay,
please?
so 5 years, 141 plots were sold in North Cemetery,
Okay,
Right.
total,
total.
so what
Right.
does the 60 month mean?
Well, that's 5 years, 12 times 5.
Oh, that's all, that's what, I got
Yeah.
it.
So January to March this year, we haven't sold any. But from March to March last year, we sold 19,
Yeah, so that was 19 for a year,
and then the year
and
before,
the two
2
years,
years, 57.
57.
So that's telling us people haven't passed away much.
So there were more sold then.
Yeah,
And look at during the COVID from 2020,
Oh, yeah.
84.
Right,
So 42 a year here, and then it
Mhm.
dropped to 28
so based on this,
and a half, and then 19. So, but we don't know how many, yeah.
but
Well,
based on this,
Yeah,
COVID was bad, but we're not in COVID now. Last year, we didn't
so
have,
maybe
we only
19.
had
Yeah,
19.
19, so we'll see what we get for this year.
mhm,
I could have run another report up till today.
Yeah, we need
So-
to find out in
Yeah.
the last 3 months or 6 months
Right,
what we sold, because based on that, I wouldn't use a lot of our budget, because we're not gonna have much coming in.
does this come from Rainmaker, may I ask?
right. Yeah, this is right out of the Rainmaker.
Okay,
This chart is just a
so
cut
do
and
you,
paste.
you know how to use it then clearly,
Yeah, it's pretty
Pretty easy.
straightforward.
okay,
19 is about $15,000.
15,000,
That's north, and then what did we do for south? So what did we say here? 141 in north in 5 years, 48 in south. So it's about a third. And then, actually 3 were sold in south
mhm,
in the last 3 months.
Hold on
And
a
then-
second, don't change that. I wanna put this into my, okay.
But then you could see 19 over 10 a year here, 10 a year here,
yeah, 48,
9. So south, see. And
okay.
Bill had said people are looking for that back lot.
Can you put it back to
They
North?
are.
So,
Okay.
so if we do
North
open that
Cemetery.
up, we might have a number of people purchase plots. So,
That's,
but what are we saying here? Yeah, we said 19, and then this is kind of, say 10, 29, yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there is, but I don't think we should say we're gonna, since we have a large balance, we're only gonna spend what we bring in right now. I think we should take a look at that balance and say,
What
is
needs
that
to
what
be
you
cut?
wanna keep?
Yeah.
Or what, and we should work with Jennifer, what is reasonable?
Mhm.
And then what are we bringing in? Do we wanna get a few things done we really should get done?
Mhm.
well, that's what I was referring
Yeah,
to.
and then once they're done, each year you're just doing, you know,
And how long is it
Smaller.
gonna take us
Yeah.
to recoup what
Right.
we're spending?
right,
Because based on your north, if you wanna go back to that again,
yeah,
there was only, the major one was COVID. And then it started to
Yeah.
dwindle down after that, so if we have, hypothetically, if we have 88,000 in the budget in the sale of lots, and we spend 60 of it, how long is it gonna take to recoup that, based on
right.
people aren't,
If you even say you're gonna recoup it, or do you say, here is really what we wanna keep as a balance?
As a balance.
And we should be, and then how much should we be spending that we bring in?
right,
Because people are expecting, like, hey, I wrote you guys checks for this.
Mhm.
Perpetual care, you
Right.
know, especially if it's
Yep.
perpetual care, why aren't you doing perpetual care?
Right.
Or you're not doing enough, or you're only spending a little, you know.
Yep.
yeah, but, okay, I can see both sides, but
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure that
Yeah,
we have perpetual
Right,
care coming
right.
in,
right,
you know? Yeah, it's like, taking care of your place and then you're laid off,
yeah,
and you, you don't have any
That's,
money
yeah.
coming in.
yeah,
You know, how are you gonna take care of the house? The roof
Right.
needs replacing and all that, you know? The roads need replacing, or, you know. Okay.
okay, so we're in good shape for funds, we just need to figure out about, spending and what we keep aside.
You wanna talk about that next month after I talk to
Yeah,
Jennifer and,
yeah, we can keep the agendas pretty much the same,
yeah,
and then, this is a bit of work to do on everything before we would take it off, right?
okay.
And then future
Two meetings,
meeting schedule and new items. I guess we could talk about to add any new items on the agenda. Someone with the,
So we haven't scheduled anything for August yet, is that correct?
we
Is that
won't
the
be,
month?
we'll be meeting at the cemeteries
Yeah,
in
but we haven't
August.
scheduled a date, or have we?
No, because I didn't know when the commissioners would be
Okay.
available, in August. But I knew it would be either Wednesday or Thursday, most
okay,
likely Thursday,
Mhm.
third or fourth week. But then again, since we're meeting at the cemeteries and you both are working, do we wanna meet? I'm guessing in August, the sun is gonna go down around 7:30, so if we meet at 6.
Don't say that, please. So,
Or we meet on a weekend, whichever you're available.
I'm pretty
Because
flexible.
there's
yeah, I think,
there's no way of televising it really, because it needs electricity, or if you can use a battery, but the batteries
That's
are
it.
full.
the
So,
old VHS thing, or whatever it was, or walk around, or if you've got a selfie stick.
Oh my God, no.
But,
So I'm pretty flexible as far as August, as far as I know right now, and,
Why don't we wait till July?
yeah, okay.
Because because then by then you'll know if you have appointments or whatever. to-
Vacations.
Right, and
Vacations.
we need to get a notice out, is it 48 hours?
48 hours.
Oh, okay, so we have plenty.
Is that
of
the
time.
agenda or the meeting notice? Is it, I guess the agenda
Agenda.
is the notice, right? So,
The agenda is
So-
a notice.
okay, so we can within, well, we
But
can
if-
give them more time than that.
If we're gonna meet on a Saturday,
Yeah,
I would back it to like a Tuesday, get it in
Yeah.
by,
yeah,
you know,
okay,
because it's 48 hours, but
okay. Because it would pretty much.
I
just-
don't
yeah,
think anyone's
okay.
gonna rather ride around their car or walk. I don't know how we're gonna do, if we're gonna drive in one car in the cemeteries or if we're gonna walk it.
Well,
Because
I think
there's-
you
We
can
just
walk it.
meet,
I think you
right?
walk
Just
it.
meet at the
Yeah.
North Cemetery parking lot, just walk
Walk it.
it.
Yes,
And then we could just drive over to South Cemetery, or
Mhm.
do it 2 separate nights. You wanna do one night, one, and,
Yep.
or-
that would make, because the
Yeah.
North Cemetery is so
Yeah.
big,
Yeah,
Yeah, just do one per, so we're not,
right, overwhelmed.
yeah.
Let's start with the small one.
yeah. You might need a clipboard or something.
I've got those.
Take notes. Okay. Anything
Okay.
else?
I have no other items right now. We covered a lot of ground here, so that's good. So we do have public
guess we should-
comment. Let me just check to see if the Zoom ever came back up.
I guess for
I don't
PAC,
see
we
it,
should
wherever it is.
let the people know that we had problems with Zoom. Evidently,
Here it is. Still spinning.
Was it recording originally?
I hope
originally was
so.
recording.
So are we being recorded
Well,
by video and PAC? Or
So-
just,
yeah, well, I don't, the Zoom is, so, it's public, right? So
The
people
Zoom-
can- But-
My understanding
and
was
that-
the Zoom
this is
goes
a
into.
recording for archive and public, live, right?
Well, this is public access, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's what this
you're
is.
live.
But you're not
people
sending
can
it
watch.
to
It's just joining in the comment
YouTube.
on Zoom,
My manager does that.
yeah.
Oh, she also sends it to YouTube.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
We really don't need Zoom to do anything, because
Well,
she's
yes, we
doing
do.
it all.
Zoom is
We need-
all, yeah.
we need it for public comment, for people to contribute.
Right.
Remote participation is Zoom.
Right.
But as
Somebody
far
else.
as getting the information out of
Yeah.
what we talked about,
Yeah, yeah.
they're doing it.
People are watching live potentially, and then they can go back later
I get
and
it.
watch it.
I understand.
Okay, so let me,
I know, it's a lot of different.
so we need to check with the town on why this isn't, or actually, I'll check with the
Yeah,
library
I-
on the way out. We'll check with the
Yeah,
library.
I just
find out.
timed out on my laptop.
Well, it's
so-
been 7:18, so
Yeah.
Zoom is limited by 45 minutes.
Yeah,
so
unless
we
you have
would've
a
only had
professional
45.
license.
But if they have an account, if the library has an
Yeah.
account with Zoom,
I don't know if we use their account.
Yeah,
I don't think
and
we
it's
can-
my laptop,
Right.
not the town laptop,
Right.
so maybe
Oh.
it doesn't recognize
Right.
that, whole feature, unless
Can
maybe,
you-
I'll
can you
check, I'll
check
check
with
on
Zoom?
Zoom.
can you check with Zoom and see for a town meeting, if they're gonna charge us?
Who would be charging us?
Zoom, because it costs,
No, I know, but I
But-
think we timed out. If we timed out at 45 minutes, they're not gonna charge us. But
Right.
if you
Oh,
had
no, yeah,
I'm-
the town's paying for it,
Oh,
but,
okay. I'm just
Yeah.
not clear on what he's. what-
I'm asking because he's personal laptop.
Yes,
We might have to get an account with Zoom instead of using the town computer,
mhm.
okay? And if that's the case, will they give us, a not charge us for a fee, because we're a town meeting.
I'm following it, but I'm not, but that's okay.
yeah.
All right.
So,
Um,
I don't see any members of the public here to make public comment, but does any members of the board have any public comment to make?
I do not.
I do not.
I don't either. So I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next meeting is July 30th, right here at the library at 6 p.m.